Never rocked up to an event wearing the same outfit as someone. It's pretty safe to say your brain has instantly decided to play a game of who wore it better. No matter who you are, it's normal to make constant comparisons. Comparing ourselves is something that is actually deeply embedded in our brain's neural architecture. Now, from an evolutionary standpoint, humans have always lived in social groups, where understanding one's position within the group was crucial for survival. Comparisons helped individuals determine their social rank, which influenced access to resources, mating opportunities, and social alliances. In ancient civilizations, social hierarchies were rigid, with clear distinctions between roles and statuses. Comparisons were tied to these hierarchies, determining one's place in society and access to resources. A higher status often meant better access to food, protection, and reproductive partners, making social comparisons a vital survival mechanism. So, our brains are home to these things called mirror neurons, which are located in the prefrontal cortex. So, these neurons are crucial for understanding others' actions and intentions. When we observe others, mirror neurons are activated, allowing us to empathize and learn from others' behaviors. This neural activity also underpins the process of comparison, as we constantly evaluate how we measure up to those around us. So, when the rise of capitalism and industrialization happened, it introduced new metrics for comparison, such as economic success and occupational achievements. This stimulated our neurological desire to compare ourselves to others, as material wealth and professional status quickly became key indicators of how society judged self worth. Fast forward into our modern era, and capitalism, along with consumer culture, still drives most of our comparisons in contemporary society. However, it is exponentially amplified through social media platforms that provide constant access to curated profiles that highlight only the best bits of people's lives, ultimately creating an illusion of constant success and happiness that in reality is unretainable. Let's face it, everyone has to do laundry, groceries, and clean the bathroom at some point. The conundrum here is that for all this doom and gloom, comparisons are vital. They just need to be framed in the correct way. Comparisons actually allow us to normalize behaviors and actions by helping us gauge whether or not actions align with social norms and expectations. Observing others' success is the foundation of becoming inspired and motivated to achieve more. It also provides benchmarks for what is possible and helps us set goals for our own personal growth and development. Although historical events and more recently social media have dramatically intensified our ingrained neurological tendency to compare ourselves to others in a way that can negatively impact our mental health, it is still possible to beat the system and preserve our well-being and exceed even our own capabilities. This is the conundrum of comparisons. It's not that comparing ourselves to others is bad or unhealthy. It's more about learning how to compare ourselves in a purposeful and meaningful way. So how do we do this? Enter the role model. This is about that poster you had, or maybe still have, hanging above your bed as a kid. Odds are you idolise that person or group to the point where most of your decisions were based around developing yourself to achieve success in a similar way to how they did. This is called an inspirational comparison. It redirects the focus from one of envy and inadequacy to admiration and motivation. By viewing other successes as examples to follow rather than threats, you transform comparison into a source of positive energy. This strategy helps motivate you to set your own benchmarks that are realistic to your context, yet still be inspired by others' achievements. Using affirmations is also an important tool to use to counteract possible negative self-talk and reinforce a positive self-image. Regularly affirming your capabilities and worth helps build resilience against the negative impacts of comparisons. Now I want you to pause for perspective. Fancy term you can use is cognitive restructuring. It helps identify and challenge irrational beliefs that stem from comparisons, replacing negative thoughts with balanced and more realistic ones, promote a healthier mindset. A common comparison among teens is, I'll never have as many followers on social media as my friend. Challenging this thought by questioning its validity provides context and shifts the focus from a perceived shortcomings to more accurate self-assessment. They've actually had their account for 2 more years than me, and most of their followers send spam messages trying to sell products all the time. Pausing for this perspective helps manage the emotional response triggered by negative comparisons, reducing the possible feelings of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Now, stick to your strengths. The strength-based approach focuses on identifying and leveraging what you do really well. For example, if you're great at organising and planning, attempt to utilise these skills to achieve your goals rather than comparing yourself to someone who excels in presenting. The odds are they probably aren't anywhere near as capable at organising and planning as you are. By recognising and developing your strengths, you build confidence and self-esteem. There is nothing stopping you organising to have someone else present the project. This approach helps shift the focus from what you lack to what you excel at, reducing the negative impact of comparisons and enhancing your sense of self-worth. So, not just a teacher education, we want you to soar instead. Focusing on skill acquisition redirects attention from comparing yourself to others to improving yourself. Our Stepping Out Achievable Results program focuses on personal growth and development, making comparisons with others less relevant. For instance, let's say you admire a colleague's ability to touch type. Instead of feeling inadequate, set a goal to improve your own typing skills by enrolling in an online course and practicing regularly. Tracking your own progress shifts the attention away from others and directly onto your own journey. As you see improvement, your sense of mastery and competence grows, which reduces the pressure to compare yourself to others and reinforces your self-efficacy. Although we may never be able to escape the dreaded comparison, knowing how to utilize them to your advantage will shift your focus from external benchmarks and material possessions to personal growth, positive self-image, and better mental and emotional well-being. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, don't just subscribe, send us a message to inquire how we can work with your school, business, or organisation, and we will personally get back to you. Or simply share it with someone you think might need to hear this message today. Until next time, hooroo.